Evening, afternoon. Hope we're all well today. Some people haven't got any patience, have they? Some people haven't got any patience. It's worth it. I hope you're all well. I'm going to do a quick 45 minutes because I'm going for a roast dinner, and I'm pretty sure most of you will be probably having roast dinners as well. It's a Sunday. Let's do it. There's been loads and loads of stuff over the last 2 days that I want to quickly cover. Obviously, everybody's losing their minds because there's been rumours saying that Darwin Núñez is going to be given another year to prove himself. It's totally untrue. Darwin Núñez will be leaving. There's a number of clubs that are looking at him. Specifically, Atletico Madrid are number one contenders for taking Núñez. So we're going to wait and see on that one. We've also got new links to a defender that everybody's raving about, a defender that I wanted for a long time. Very, very talented player. Unfortunately, I feel though if this guy comes in, then one guy will be leaving, and it quite possibly could be Konate. I know there's been rumours that there's been ongoing talks and they've been progressing well. But if he doesn't sign a new contract, then there's a chance that we may shift him on, or we may just look at keeping him for another year and then letting him go on a free transfer. Same scenario, unfortunately. The clubs see more benefit in keeping players and letting them walk out the club on free transfers after we've used every single drop of their usability, if that's a word, than selling them on early, or in a case of leaving ourselves too short. The whole scenario with Trent, we obviously kept him because we felt there was benefit in keeping him for another 6 months than selling him for less than 20 million to Real Madrid, and then eventually, leaving ourselves short. And we certainly did leave ourselves short because we lost both right backs, and we ended up having to play Quansah and Curtis Jones and Endo in some games as the right back. So it proved worthwhile keeping him for the last 6 months because we did use him. He did win us a game. He did have some use, and it meant that we didn't have to use Conor Bradley too much. So maybe we'll do the same with Konate, and maybe we'll do the same with Diaz. There's no immediate need to sell Diaz. He's not kicking up a stink. He still works hard. He's on relatively low wages. He's on about 90 grand, by the way. Like, this stuff about he's on 50 grand is just nonsense. Okay, it really is just nonsense. He's on around £90,000 a week, and the pay rise he's looking for is around about 140 grand. It's not a huge amount, but we're not willing to give a 4-year contract to a guy who's 28 years old. Like, it's just not our thing. So we may just keep him for another year and then maybe sell him next year, or we may just keep him till the end of his contract and let him walk out the door because he wasn't an expensive player. And that's how we see things. With Darwin Núñez, it's completely different. He's cost us 77 million quid in total. If we do keep him, we have to pay Benfica another 5-6 million. So it's whether we see the benefit in that. And he's been really poor last season. His attitude stunk. He's got himself banned from international duty for fighting in the crowd. He hasn't been a great player around the team either. If you just look at his body language and the way he was acting at the end of the season when we won the league, he felt off. I'm sure he had a behind-the-scenes spat with Salah. I'm sure there was problems in the training because he didn't play in 2 games when he was available, and the manager said he was injured when he wasn't. So he was obviously not picked because of something that happened behind the scenes. So for me, I'd just move him on. I'd just keep Chiesa, if anything. Chiesa's probably puts in more effort, and he wants to stay at the club, even though the club want to sell him. So we'll see what happens. Before we go any further, there's nearly 100 of you in here. I know it's a Sunday. I appreciate you being here. Hit the like and subscribe, please. And if you want to become a rebel, hit the membership. So far, I've got about 16 members. I'm looking to get around about 30, and then I'll put another video in. I've got loads and loads of stuff from behind the scenes at Anfield. When I went there on my VIP visit, then I'll post up more stuff about that trip and what I got up to. But I need a few more members, like, because I've got to make it worth its while, haven't I? Couple of shout outs while I'm here. Big shout out to James. Good to have you here, mate. Also, big shout out to Jen. Good to have you here. Appreciate it. Smash those likes. Thanks, Jen. Have we got any other members in the house? I haven't. No, I haven't. Okay. If you do want any comments reading out, just pop me a super chat. Doesn't matter how small it is. Just stick it in there and I'll read out your message. I will read out AA's though, because he's always here. He's a regular. Some are very reliable. I'm not an ITK, but the person has been spot on so far. Liverpool will move for either Isak or, yep, I think it's Isak, by the way. AA. I've said that a number of times, and I'm not an ITK, but I've said that it's Isak. But we do need to move on a Nunes and a Jota and a Chiesa to facilitate that. I don't think Diaz is a priority. I also want to say, did anyone see the assist by Cody yesterday? Stand by for more of them next season with Salah on the back post. Stand by for more of those next season with Frimpong on the back post. Like, that was an unbelievable assist. That is exactly what Cody can do when give him space and he can cross it in. That little whipped ball to the back post, outstanding. I think it was like 2.5 years ago. It was before COVID, when I last got my hair cut. But I have had my hair dyed recently, so it's got blonde in it, because I do get a bit of grey, as you can see. But yeah, it's been like 2 years. No, he is not going to be on number 9. No, he's not. I'm not having it. It's either Isak or Alvarez for me. And if he goes to Atletico, then all signs point that Alvarez might move. Just saying. Okay. I'm just going to share my screen anyway now. So let's get into it. We've got over 100 people in here. So wanted to welcome our new player. So we've now got Pesky, who's a highly rated goalkeeper, 20 years old, signed from Hungarian club. I can't even remember the name, Amateurs or something like that they're called. But basically one of the most highly rated players, young players in the in Europe. He almost won the Golden Boy Awards with Doe because he was that good. Absolute steal, 1.5 million. We nipped in and got that one done way before anybody else even had a chance. Nobody knew about it. He was at Anfield about 2 years ago. So he's obviously one that we've had on the radar. We do have a thing for Hungarian goalkeepers, so we must have some kind of lead scout at Anfield who seems to be able to pop up with these keepers. We seem to be full of just brilliant goalkeepers, Liverpool. Like, we really do. Like, we seem to just have that one tied down 100%. Like, we've got Alisson, who wants to stay till 2027, by the way. And if you don't know about that news, then that is amazing news. I would not be surprised if Alisson ended up being a goalkeeping coach at Liverpool in the future. I just wouldn't be surprised at all if he just seen out his career at Liverpool. So he wants to stay to 2027. So Mamadashvili might actually just be a cash cow. He might actually be a cash cow, and we might end up selling Mamadashvili for double the price we bought him. I don't see how he gets in ahead of Alisson. I really don't. It's an interesting one. So we've got Ali, we've got Mamadashvili, we've got Pesky, we've got Jaros, we've got Davies. Harvey Davies is another really talented English goalkeeper. I think he's in the under-20s. We got plenty of goalkeepers. Kornel Miskul, who's a Polish goalkeeper, I think. Lots and lots of young goalkeepers. So this one's another one on the conveyor belts. That one's done. I just wanted to bring this one up because I thought this one was quite interesting because I did talk about this a while ago. Wirtz's numbers are just mind-boggling. So Messi had 138 GA when he was 23. Ronaldo had 137 GA when he was 23. Wirtz has got 135 GA and he's only 22. Still got another year before he reaches 23 because he's only just turned 22. His numbers are off the scale. I do see a lot of updates about Wirtz bid being rejected, a third bid being rejected. It's an interesting one because this bid went in on Monday last week, by the way, like way behind. Like the media are way behind where we are with negotiations. So this was from Paul Joyce. They won 150 million. Like I've said this all along, like from day one, I've said that they moved the goalposts and we aren't prepared to move. Like we are not budging. Like they moved the goalposts from 130 million euros to 150 million euros because he's their star player. He's their asset. Like they want 150 million euros, which is about 126 million quid. We are not willing to break the British transfer record. I said this weeks ago, probably about 2 weeks ago, that Liverpool are not going to break the British transfer record for this guy because we don't want to be the team that puts that pressure on that player by him being the UK British transfer record. And we are not going to budge past 113 million. We're not doing 115 million. It's just not happening. So we will sit where we are and we will wait, and they will have to bring the price down. And like I said already a while ago, we offered 85 million pounds cash and the rest was add-ons. And we did the little deal with our goalkeeper going to Brentford and then being able to sign that goalkeeper from Brentford on the cheap was part of this deal. Okay. And they also want one of our players in Harvey Elliott. They are not getting Harvey Elliott. They're not getting Harvey Elliott because we see him as PSR, pure PSR profit. So we will sell Harvey Elliott and he will probably go to Wolves or Nottingham Forest or Brighton. Okay, that's how that one works. That is how that one works. So we are going to sit tight and they are going to accept our offer. And it's going to be 113 million with add-ons. So it's still going to be around the 85 million pound mark with a load of add-ons. That's just a fact. Like we've really not moved. We really haven't changed that price of 85 million. Like it is still the price that we're paying them cash, and the rest is add-ons and bits and bobs. But we haven't changed anything. Nothing's really changed. It's just the media are trying to spin it this way and that way and this way and that way, but they will bring the price down. And I will give you a little update from Bayern, CF Bayern, who've been pretty bang on all the time. Bayer Leverkusen expect a final offer promptly from Liverpool. They assume that both sides agree on an amount of around 140 million euros, including add-ons. Okay, 140 million euros is pretty much around 113 million pounds. So the price is going to be the same. We're not going to break the transfer record. We're not going to do it. We're not doing it. We're not going to go beyond the Caicedo money. It's not going to happen. We do not want to put that pressure on the guy. So it's going to be 118 million pounds. I don't think so. I still think it's going to be around 113 million. It's going to end up being about 113 million still. Caicedo was 100 was it 115 or 125 Caicedo? Can someone put it in the chat? Can someone put it in the chat? Was Caicedo 115 or 125? 115. Okay, so it's going to be 114 million 0.9. 114.9 million. It's going to be £1 under 115 million. Oh, there you go. 140 million is 117 million. Okay, it's still going to be under 115. I'm telling you, we're not breaking the UK transfer record for this guy. We do not want to do it. We do not want to do it. This got rejected, by the way, last week. Sorry, on Monday. That's how far behind we are. We are miles behind the negotiations. He might want the record. You're true. He might want the record, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see. Look, at the end of the day, I've said this all along. We're the only people at the negotiating table. Bayer Leverkusen have no leverage. They have no leverage. If they keep on rejecting the money, then we just don't buy him, and they're stuck with a player that wants to move to Liverpool. So then he'll just hand in a transfer request, and we'll end up getting him even cheaper. And he's got 2 years left on his contract, by the way. So if we waited another year, we get him for half the price. Bayer Leverkusen know that they need to sell this guy because they need that money to do a rebuild. Because they've just lost Jonathan Tah, who's their best central defender, on a free. Yeah. They've just lost Frimpong, who was their best right back, for 29 million, which they don't get 29 million, by the way. They get 10 million every year. And they're about to lose a number of other players, potentially. Like Victor Boniface is going to leave. That's another guy that's going to go. They've had a couple of players that have retired. They're not in a great place. They need to sell their star asset so they can rebuild their team to compete again. And it looks like they're going to go and buy a load of Man United players, because it looks like Ten Hag is obsessed with buying ex-players again. So they're probably going to go and get Garnacho, or I don't know. Like, I don't know who they're going to go and get, but they're probably going to head back to Manchester United and take a load of players from Manchester United, because Ten Hag's obsessed with buying ex-players. He will. He'll have the axe to lean by next week. I'm telling you. By Wednesday, he'll be photographed at AXA. I'm telling you. Same with Kerkez. Kerkez might take a little bit longer because we're holding firm with Kerkez. No, let's not go and get Cherky, because Cherky doesn't do any tracking back. Cherky doesn't do any running. He doesn't do any off the ball work. Let's leave Cherky with Manchester City, where he can turn into another Grealish, and you can let Pep Guardiola ruin him. Okay, and we don't need his attitude either, because he's got an attitude problem, and he's also lazy as hell, as AA's just put. Okay, we don't want Cherky. We don't want Cherky. We want this guy. This guy is the best in the world at his position. This guy, for me, is the best player we will have ever signed in my lifetime in watching Liverpool Fact. He would be the best player we have ever signed in my lifetime at watching Liverpool. He's a guy that we would never ever dream of Liverpool going to get. He's the guy that you would have thought he'd gone to Bayern Munich or he'd gone to Real Madrid. That's it. Or he'd gone to Manchester City. And you've just gone, okay, fine. Like, you can see why he's gone, because they're paying him mega bucks and they're top of their table. But he's coming to Liverpool. And we have to be so excited, because this is exactly why Edwards was brought back. Like, we are ahead of time as well. We're ahead of time by probably about 2 years. There is no way on earth Edwards and Hughes came in and hired Slot and thought, oh, we're going to go and win the Premier League in the first year. There's no way. There's no way we'd have even dreamed of being in that situation. And that's why he's had to go over to the States and go, look, guys, we're ahead of schedule. Like, whether you like it or not, whether you plan this, we're ahead of schedule by 2 years. You need to cough up. Like, you need to put your hands in your pockets now, and we need to do this rebuild early, and we need to strengthen when we're in a position of strength. And it is true. Like, it was 200, 300 million they went and asked for, and they're probably going to get 200 million back. They're probably going to get that back in player sales, but not right at this moment in time. But they probably are going to get it back. Big up Dan, by the way, another member, and also big up Harrison, another member. Good to have you on board. Suarez was a hell of a player, but Suarez wasn't world class. Like, he just wasn't world class when we signed him. But this guy is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't know this guy could score with his head until I seen the Germany game, and then I watched a few of his highlights, and he scores headers. Like, he does everything. But even that whipped ball that he put to the back post for Germany in the first 20 minutes, I'm like, that's Mo Salah on the end of that. Mo Salah is literally nipping in on the back post on the end of that, scoring. And you're like, and there's so much about him that looks like Suarez, looks like Coutinho, and looks like Bobby Firmino, all combined into one. Like, there's so much about him that's all combined into one. And he's also got a 30-yarder like Steven Gerrard. Have you seen some of his 30-yarders that he puts in off the crossbars? Like, the guy's got everything. He's got absolutely everything about his game. I don't want Rafael anywhere near our club. The guy is hot and cold. Like, we've got Diaz. We don't need Leao. We've got Luis Diaz. Like, yeah, I mean, the closest we've had is probably Thiago. The closest we've had is Thiago, but Thiago was just crocked with injuries. Like, this guy's had a major injury, and he's done what Virgil van Dijk did, and he's come back from that injury and just been dominating. Like, and he's also a winner, by the way. He's also a winner. He's also won the league without a defeat. And also Frimpong has as well. Like, we've got two players who won their league without one defeat. The only defeat they had that season was against Atalanta in the Europa League final, and they completely dominated that until the final, when they basically ran into Gasperini, who he battered us. Like, Gasperini battered us. So let's be fair. Big up Barry, by the way. Massive thanks there, Barry. Go and get your memberships. There's 5 available there. Big up H, who's also a member now. Good to have you on board. Massive shout out. Put a W in the chat there, just like LFC Monster has. Get those W's in the chat for Barry. Big up. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other news we have here. I mean, I've got to pop this one in here because I think this would be a hell of a signing. So we're looking at Diamande, who wants to go nowhere near Manchester United, which is great to see. Liverpool are in for this guy. Apparently, a bid has been made. We are going for this one early because Crystal Palace are looking at him as a Gahey replacement. Because Mark Gahey has been linked to Chelsea and also Newcastle, and we may have to go early on this one. Look, at the end of the day, we had 50 million cash to buy Dean Huijsen. That was there. Like, we were ready to spend 50 million on a defender. Like, that was done. Like, if Dean Huijsen had chosen us over Real Madrid, he'd be in the AXA lean now. He'd be at Liverpool now. And that would have been done and dusted. And that also meant that we might have been able to get Kerkez early because we'd have given them 50 million and we'd have probably negotiated something in that deal. But this guy is an absolute monster. Like, I think he's ready for the next level now. He's 21. He's just won the league. Like, I think he's done back-to-back leagues now. He's won a number of trophies now. He's played 101 times. And his aerial duel rate is 65%, according to FootMob. I mean, he is a perfect replacement for Konate, who, by the way, I do not want to leave. Like, I don't want Konate to go, by the way. Like, that is a fact. But getting this guy in would be another statement of Liverpool mean business. He is class. He is a very, very good player. Like, watch him against Arsenal, like, a couple of years ago. He just completely dominated them. Like, he's a really good player. I'll do a little deep dive on him as well on the next show, which I'll do tomorrow. But that'll be a bit later on in the night, that show. Probably do that about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I'll do a deep dive on Demonde and see what happens with him as well. So he's rated at 51 million. So this is him talking about him replacing Gomez or Quansah as an upgrade. So football talent scout Jacek Kulig saying, you really see a player with such high ball playing and pure defender skills. There are some tactical improvements, but I'm sure this kid will play for the best teams in the world. Signs of an elite talent. He's at 21. I still can't believe he's 21, by the way. Like, he's got 100 appearances. He's got 8 caps for the Ivory Coast. 51 million they're asking for. Crystal Palace and Manchester United are in the mix, which is why we're having to go early. I think a £45 million bid. Crystal Palace are looking to place soon. So there's more rumours here. According to reports in Portugal, the Reds are interested in 21-year-old Sporting defender, previously played for Midtjylland. 29 league matches this season and 9 Champions League matches. Crystal Palace and Manchester United. It looks like it's just the same news regurgitated. But this one in the Echo was an interesting one for me, and there's also one in the Mirror. There's loads coming out today about this guy, by the way. It's all over the news. So updates on Osama Diomande and Kubu. So there's 2 updates with Kubu also involved. The Kubu one makes a lot of sense because we've looked at him for a while. So obviously the deal with 130 million for Wirtz, Kerkez 45 million, and now we're linked with Sporting defender. It's 50.6 million, and they value him at 60 million euros. Also, Kubu's been outlined as a interesting player. Sky Sports Germany have said that there's a number of Premier League clubs that are looking at him, but Liverpool are interested because he's valued at around 33.7 million. I don't know how you feel about Kubu. we can do a dive on him as well tomorrow. Also, it looks like we've actually made a bid according to the Mirror. Liverpool, so club record bid submitted as Reds join 5-team battle. So this is today. So where is it? It's down here. So elsewhere, Slot is keen to add to his options in defence, with Liverpool now joining a 5-team chase for Sporting Lisbon star. So we are in with Palace, Arsenal, Manchester United and Bayern Munich over this guy. Portuguese side are demanding a fee of around 50 million. Also, this one was in a Portuguese outlet here. If you can see, Liverpool are amongst the clubs interested in Sporting centre-back Diomande. Sporting have placed a price tag of around 60 million euros. I think this one has got legs. I'm convinced this one's got legs. This is in about 4 different media outlets now. I think this one's got legs. And this seems like a Liverpool thing where we're looking at players. We've done a lot of research on them. They're on our list. And another club has then made a bid. And then we've gone, oh, hang on a minute. We've got to act fast now. We had to do it with Cody Gakpo. We had to do it with Luis Diaz. We had to do it with Darwin Núñez, unfortunately. He was getting bid by other teams. So this one looks interesting. Also, you're right. Mosquera from Valencia is another player that we're looking at. So there's reports that we're potentially, I mean, you can already see kind of the difference between Jurgen and Slot. Like, you can see completely the difference now, can't you? When obviously Dean Huijsen was our number one, he's gone. So we're looking at Mosquera, we're looking at Diomande. That's like 2 and 3 on the list. Then you're looking at Cherky, we've already spoken to, and we already agreed terms with him. Then Wirtz came available, who was probably our number one choice. So we've already looking at our number one choice. Number two choice we've already spoken to. So we had number 1 and 2 already done and dusted. Then you've also got the likes of Kerkez. Well, we'd already spoken to Wolves about what's his name, Aït-Nouri. So we'd already had conversations with Aït-Nouri. So we already had number 1 and then number 2 potentially done. And then you've got Frimpong. I don't know who the other right back we probably spoke to, but we've already covered our bases of first choice, second choice, third choice. And with strikers, well, we've spoken to Isaac. We've definitely spoken to Alvarez. We've obviously spoken to Ekitike. So we've already gone down our lists of 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're doing things that we never did before, where we're covering maybe our 5 targets and we've spoken to all of them. And then we're putting them in priority of which one we can get first. And if we can't get the first one, we go for the second one. We can't get the second one. And then the first one comes available, we go and get the first one. And that's what we haven't done before. We've not done this before since probably Edwards. I think, let's be honest, probably Edwards. Like, Alisson might not have been our first choice. Oblak might have been our first choice. Salah might not have been our first choice. Mane might not have been our first choice. But Edwards prioritised them. Which one can we get? Okay, well, all right, we can't go and get number 1. Well, we're going to get number 2. And this is the problem we've had in the past. We've not been able to sort out number 2 or 3 or 4 because we've been so focused on number 1 because of Jurgen. I like it or love it. Like, it's just the way it's been. And Zubimendi was a prior example of that. Like, literally, the new guys came in and they didn't have a chance to have another priority because they literally just arrived. And it was, yeah, Zubimendi, first choice. They tried for first choice. They didn't have a second choice or third choice. They just didn't have time. They literally just arrived at the club. And then you've also got to look at the centre-back thing as well. Well, we thought about Lenny Oro as an opportunist purchase. Didn't get him. We didn't have a second choice, third choice. But now we have. because Hughes and Edwards have been at the club for 6 months plus, and they've had a plan to put something down on paper now, and they've spoken to Slot, and Slot's gone, these are the guys I'd like. And I love it. Absolutely love it. And we should too. What else am I going to show you before I go and have my roast? Where are we at? Actually, I'm going to put the membership link in the chat because someone's just asked. So this is how you become a member. I'm going to stick it in here. I think we both did, by the way, James. I was always saying on a number of channels, Zubimendi was always going to go to Madrid. He was always going to go to Madrid because he's wrote it in a book or in some kind of publication. He actually wrote that Madrid is my dream club to go to. Like, and he would wait to make that move. Yeah, that's how you become a member. It's in the chat there. Let me just read out a couple of the member chats. 2 secs. Copish goes to KMax channel. And you should see a prompt to join. What else have we got? If Madrid go for Zubi, it'd be hilarious. Wouldn't it just be so funny if that Zubimendi deal falls through? Like, literally everybody thought that it was done. Bayer Leverkusen are braced for Liverpool to make another big money bid in the next 24 hours. Look, like, big kudos to Lewis Steele, by the way. And if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, definitely go and check it out. He's put his reputation on the line and said that Zubimendi, he's put his reputation on the line and said that Wirtz and Kerkez will be done by next week. Like, he really has. Like, 60 million, I think 50 million will get that deal done for Diamonde. And I think he's worth every penny. I think he's an absolute monster. He would be fantastic. I think what's really interesting, by the way, if we do get Diamonde and we keep Canate, what does everybody think about maybe a back three with the wing backs playing as wing backs? So you've got three central defenders, yeah, and then you've got Kerkez wide, like in the middle of like midfield and defense, and then you've got Frimpong wide in the middle of midfield and defense. So you've got those triangles. So you've got triangles everywhere, and then you've got 2 pivot midfielders in McAllister and then Gravenberch, and then you can rotate the likes of Szoboszlai in the false 9, or even on the left hand side, and then you can play Wirtz there if you wanted, or Cody or Diaz, and then you've obviously got Salah, but you could also play Szoboszlai there or Wirtz there, and then you've got a main striker in potentially Alvarez or Isaac, or you could play Wirtz as a false 9. Like, you have that rotation in that area, but you keep like a back 5, but it's not really a back 5 because you've got the left back and the right back as wing backs that are really basically defensive midfielders that can play really wide, really high. I think that would be sensational. I think that really would be sensational. I'm just going to have a look at some of the info on Diamonde. I'm just going to quickly check on Canate, by the way, because I'll just see if there's any updates on Canate. Canate feelings clear. Canate contract. Journalist claim progress made. Yeah, but that was 6 days ago. Oh, hang on, 20 hours ago. Okay, this is new. I'm just gonna force quit. 2 seconds. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what. Okay, I don't know what that is. That's not important, but this might be. Okay, so I'm gonna share this quickly. So Liverpool contract rebel drops huge hint over future. Okay, so allowing anyone to enter their last year of a deal is unacceptable. Liverpool only just managed to get away with Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk. What have we got? Canate will likely remain a red next season. Speaking with The Athletic early next week, Canate opened up and gave us an insight into where his head is at after an extremely busy season, and we've led to believe his focus is only on Liverpool. He said the most important thing is not to rest on our laurels. We've won the Premier League, which is magnificent and which made everyone happy, but it's not an end in itself. I want to win it again next year or win the Champions League. I mean that was Canate speaking to The Athletic. How does everybody feel about that? Did anybody know about that interview? Did anybody know about that interview? I didn't know about that interview. That's really good news, if that's true. Yeah, no, he's not being great. I don't think Canate plays great with poor players. Like, I think he needs to have a right-hand man. Like, he really needs to have a good player on his by his side. I'm just going to close a couple of tabs. 2 seconds. I'm just going to close a couple of tabs. Where are we? Sorry, I'm just closing a couple of tabs. Bear with me. I feel like the stream's going to lag if I don't close some of these tabs down. Okay, feels a lot better now. All right. So how does everybody feel about that then? That interview? Because I didn't know about that interview, but that's really interesting. I've just covered that at the start of the show, by the way. Those numbers. I covered it at the start of the show, mate. I think that's a really interesting one. So Lewis Steele has just said that Leverkusen are holding out for 118 million. Leverkusen are haggling over small details and bonuses, achievable or not. They're basically just trying to get as much money as they can, which they're entitled to, by the way. He is their best player, but Liverpool will just sit tight because some of the add-ons are hard to achieve according to the build, which is why they're looking at more money. Leverkusen rejects 109 million bid for Wirtz. LFC preparing improved 118 million offer plus potential hard to achieve bonus add-ons. So it looks like what we're doing is, instead of the 109 million total, yeah, which had add-ons, we're going to increase it to 118, and we're going to put in and we're going to put in hard to achieve bonus add-ons, which means that they're probably not going to get the 118 million. Yeah, you're right. You did say 117. You did say I'm gonna nickname you now Bruno Romano. That's got a ring to it, hasn't it? Bruno Romano. Do you like that? They're squeezing the Wirtz lemon dry. I know. They totally are. Like, they totally are. Well, that's frightening, that, isn't it? Diamonde, Isaac, Wirtz, Frimpong, Kerkez. Oof. Oof. Liverpool, Diaz and Liverpool waiting for Barcelona to get 1-1 ratio back and want him. Apparently, Barcelona are in hot water again. In case you didn't know, they failed. They failed one of their issues. Barca fans. I'm just going to bring this one up actually, because this is probably why Liverpool didn't want anything to do. I'm just going to bring this up because people might not know about this. So people might not know about this, but Barca are in the doo-doo again. This is on ESPN. I might just read it out. Barca face further punishments for potential breaches of UEFA financial fair play. But sources claim that they're hopeful of any severe sanctions will be avoided. The violation relates to income registered by Barca on assets which are not considered relevant under UEFA. So basically, so the levers were accepted by La Liga, but they weren't accepted by UEFA. And the breaches are around it doesn't actually say, which is great. Anyway, who knows what's going to happen with them. I'm going to end it here. I hope you've all enjoyed this little quick update. I haven't got any more news for you right now, or have I? Let me just double check. No. Oh, actually, I have got something on Kerkez. So I'm just going to whack this in the chat instead of bringing up the screen because it's easier. So I'll just pop that in the chat and then talk about it. So this is from Paul Joyce. So Paul Joyce has done another update. Miller Kerkez is rated 45 million by Bournemouth, and Liverpool Sporting Director Issues has been seeking to negotiate the figure down. So that one's still not done. We're looking to get him for around 38 million, which I've always said. They want 45. We're haggling. We will probably end up getting him for about 42. I also think what's hilarious, which is Brian Mbeumo, by the way, Manchester United are throwing 250,000 a week at Mbeumo, and Brentford want a minimum of 70 million for him because they paid 62 million for Cunha, and they rate Mbeumo better than Cunha, rightly so, because he is. But the funny thing is, Brentford are potentially going to lose Thomas Frank to Tottenham, and Thomas Frank's first signing he wants at Tottenham is Brian Mbeumo, and he can offer him Champions League, which Manchester United can't because they got beat by Tottenham. How funny is that? How funny is that if that happens? If Manchester United lose out on Mbeumo because Thomas Frank goes to Tottenham, because Tottenham beat Manchester United in the final and they get Champions League, that is hilarious. That is so funny. Like, that is so funny if that happens. Also looks like there's loads of players on the merry-go-round. Like Chelsea are doing mad stuff again, trying to sign loads of kids from all over the world again. Looks like they're probably going to get Gittins. Looks like they're going to get Ekitike. They're going to have like this huge amount of player build up again, and I still think they won't finish in the top 2 next season or top 3. I think it'll be Arsenal, Man City, and us. Like if we go and get an Isak, or we go and get an Alvarez, and we maybe sort out this defender, like I genuinely believe we could probably push for the Champions League as well next season. We're already rated as the top team on betting odds for the Champions League next season. We're already top rated. So good news there. If you hadn't hit the like and subscribe, please do. There's over 220 of you in here. Love the fact you're all here on a Sunday. Also, got to give a massive shout out to Barry for the memberships. Big up, Barry. Good to have you here, mate. Looks like I'll be posting another video next week in the member channel. If you haven't subscribed, go and subscribe as a member. Also, any comments, put them in the chat. And up the Reds, I'm out of here to have a roast. Go and spend a lovely day with your families and forget about football for a bit. And take care. See you all soon. And I'll be going live again tomorrow. So check out your notifications. And I'll do a deep dive on Diamande and a couple of other people. I will see you later. Bye-bye. Actually, I'm going to send you right now to Enza's channel. All right. So put it in the chat. K-Mac Raid. Okay. Enza's live now. Okay. See you all later. Bye-bye.